Okay. All right. Well, Amy, first thing I want to show you, and I mean, you may have noticed, did you receive some emails this morning that with some type of alert message?
I did not check this morning, but I have been receiving work messages.
Okay. Well, what we've got in here, and what I'm clicking on is what we call service orders, which are basically appointments that that are either have been scheduled or going to be scheduled. And we've added a feature in here. Now let's see. I'm gonna pull up something here. I'm pulling up appointments that I scheduled or set up first thing this morning. Like this one here, Balboa Drive.
Balboa.
Actually, this is one that we already did. But see, what we have here is it says schedule notes. Do you see this?
Yes.
Okay. Well, when they're setting an appointment or they're working, I'll go find another one. Let's try this. This one's already been scheduled. But if they needed you to do something different with the schedule, and let's say they knew they needed appointment time somewhere, and usually it'll be specific like this, like a certain service order, because every appointment we call a service order, it has a number. I'm highlighting it right there.
Okay.
And then it also has, it's tied to a customer account number, which we have right here.
Okay.
So you'll be able to reference, any message or these alerts via the service order or the customer account number. But when they go in here, and it's under schedule notes, these are the ones for you.
Okay.
But they could put something like need, manager and say MC4 on like 8, say 25, something like that. And they check this box and hit yes. And it does one of two things. It's emailing you the alert, plus then it's creating a list that you can go back and reference, or that you can go and look at throughout the day to see each one of these.
Okay.
So I know now, I'm guessing either through that SMS request or somehow through logistics or some way you're receiving these type of requests.
Yes.
The way we do it now, this is where it's going to be. You're going to get, if you check your email, you should see 4 alerts from today.
Okay.
Okay, and then also if you click here, you see this, we got a button here for schedule alert.
Uh-huh.
You click that, then you can see the list of them.
Okay.
And notice each one of these, you see a service order number, you see their customer number, and then also, too, you see who set the appointment.
Okay.
And then what you can do is, if you click on the Navigate button and then highlight one of these and click on Card, it actually opens the service order.
Okay.
So you can see everything, like this one here is a daily deal that someone, they haven't actually set it yet. You see there's no appointment date and time or anything like that here.
Right.
But they're saying to you, I need an evening appointment, for MC3. So maybe there's somebody, either all the stops are taken for that day and they're asking if you can move somebody into that area.
Okay.
Does this make sense to you? Again, I look at this every day. I know you've only seen it once, so I may have.
No, it totally makes sense.
Okay. So we'll just do one. I'll go in, and I'm going to simulate I'm in the renewal department.
Okay.
And schedule a renewal, and I'm going to do something where I'll need to alert you. Okay. Well, here's one that's a treatment only. So I'm going to create a service fee. It's a treatment only. It's pending, so they need to set a renewal for this. So I'm creating a service order. Okay. So if I go in and say service item template, setting up the renewal. And there's going to be plenty of appointment times for this, just because it's an NC2. But when I go to resource applications, that's going to show me the schedule. I mean, this is what the appointment setter sees. Again, let's say I see something here. Maybe I want a certain tech, or there's some issue that I need from this schedule that's not here. So what I would do is, if I needed you to make some change, I'd go in and say, okay, schedule note. I check this box and hit yes. And like I said, then that creates, and we're going to speed this up. This is taking too long. We know how to fix it. But like I said, you receive an email, and then that schedule alert list is populated.
Okay.
So I would think on a daily basis, you would be checking your email, and then going in and looking at the schedule alert, and then you would come to these service orders, see what is set, and then go in and move guys around the schedule.
Okay, now would I respond to this in the system, or would I just
send
you
respond in the system? We've got a couple ways that you can do that. You know, for one thing, we've got a note field here, and I haven't worked with this as much as I'd like to yet, but you can create a note, something like, times or something like that, and then you can send it. Like, see, I set this appointment. You can actually go find me on this list, and actually the note will be sent to me.
Okay.
And it will reference this service order.
Okay.
So then I would know, okay, for service order number 890, you know, that I can go in and set this appointment because you have, move Dave into that area.
Okay.
But again, clicking on the schedule alert list, now you see we've added this one.
Okay.
Like I said, we go look at the note, and it's actually I sent the note to myself, so that's kind of. And I believe that note is sitting right here where I can view it.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, everything you would, like I said, basically be receiving a list with a service order number and a customer number, and here is the actual list. And then you would be able to go on this service order once you've made whatever change and respond to the person who set it via this service order, either via this note field, or we have these action required fields that could be used. We've got a bunch of different ones here, but we could add something like, see, I have one here, need times, which means they're waiting for you. You could have something here like, Amy created appointment, please set, or something like that. And they could run lists based on that.
Okay.
So that's, again, we need to work with it a little bit in practice and get it down. But again, everything will be done right from here. You won't have to Skype anybody or anything like that. It'll all be done through here.
Okay, I like that a lot.
Okay. All right.
Now, what happens to the, where you went to the alerts?
Uh-huh.
Is there a way to, once I've answered it, delete, or does it automatically delete?
All you need to do, and again, this one's service order 890. once you check this box, and actually when I check this, it's going to close this service order out, but it'll remove it from the list.
Okay.
Let's say you've resolved everything, you sent the note, you go in and check this. Actually, it didn't close it out, but so I check that. Go back to schedule alert. Now you see service order 890 is no longer here.
Okay.
So checking that box basically puts it on this list. Unchecking it removes it.
Okay.
But there's a permanent history of that, right?
Yeah, we've got, I may have to move my GoToMeeting here. Got the schedule alert archive. Let's see. There's a way to filter this. Yeah, here you go. So these are all the ones that we've ever created with the scheduler archive.
Right, right.
The scheduler, it keeps it permanently. So if somebody went in and unchecked that when they weren't supposed to, we'd be able to go in here and find it.
Okay.
Do you want to work with this anymore, or would you like to go in and kind of get started? I've set up a schedule for today with about 13 technicians.
Okay.
With each one having appointments, and that's what we want to do. We want you to see that, and just kind of let's go through the process a little bit of what you would need to do to analyze it, move text around, and just everything you do on a daily basis.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I think I'm good with this.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty simple. But like I said, now we set an appointment, and I know we have that service event number. With this, even before we set an appointment, it has the service order number.
Right.
And that's what, you'll either reference that. You're trying to find something, you'll either reference that or their actual customer account number.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Ashley, I guess the place to start would be that, and I need to put a button for this, or a cube for this right here, but what they call the RES capacity entries.
Right, the resource capacity, yeah.
Right. Well, actually, this is different from the resource capacity. It's similar, but this has more detail, and this is where we can go in and see the whole schedule. But I'm going to go in for date number 8.
This is very much like how we set it up very similar to how it is in SMS right now, so that way you can still see the name, address, all the details on that. And then if you go all the way over to the right on your screen, you can see those notes that are specifically for Amy. Because you know how Amy right now, you have where we always say, okay, make sure you put your note at the very beginning so that you can see it. Yeah. Now you have your own field for that. So it doesn't get confused with tech notes and then notes for you.
Yeah, okay. Amy, I'm going to study that real quick. I'm glad she brought that up. I'm going to pick one of the appointments I set this morning. Okay, so let's say I put on here do not move. And again, this service order is number 880. So when you do that screen we were just at, where you can go in and analyze, this note field will be there. And we are training everybody that if there's something that you need to see during the routing process, that they put this note here.
Okay, good.
So, and again, you look at this one, we've got a 1-year termite and pest plan running, and Kevin's running it at 2 o'clock today.
Okay.
So anyway, so we go back to, and again, I'm going to make it easier. I've got one of the things I got on my list is just to have a cube for you to use to go to this.
Okay.
Put in 8/19. I'm putting today's date. So I just put in today's date, and here is the schedule. And then scroll over, and let's go look at Kevin real quick since we just did that. All right, here's Kevin. I believe that was at 2 o'clock. Scroll over, and you see here that there's where you would see it.
Okay.
See that the Kevin only do not move?
Yeah, and I see Paul only too, so that's cool. I like
Right.
that a lot, how it's separated.
Yeah. So you have keyboard and mouse if you want to just move around and look, and also too we can put this into a spreadsheet. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I like
again,
that.
I know you do this on a daily basis. Ashley's more familiar than I am, so I'll kind of at this point, just let you move around and we'll go from there.
Okay.
And then we probably want to show, maybe you go over again about the transfer, the swap allocation and transfer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we need to be a little careful with that today because we've got appointments in there for the stress test we're doing with Megan.
Right.
I can't move anything that's except from 1 through 4. But anything else, 9 through 12 or 5 through 7, absolutely, we can move those around.
Okay. Is there any way that we can move the routing notes over so that it's not far end?
Where do you want
them? The routing notes, is there any way to move that over, like almost?
Like,
yeah, where would you want them?
I mean, I personally think I would like them, hang on, can I scroll back over to the left all the way?
Yeah, you can move as much as you want.
Maybe even before or in between the customer number and name. Just because it's kind of nice to be able to see that right when I'm opening it. Don't you think, Ashley?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Because right now, like Larry does the SMS, that's why it's such a pain, is you got to scroll back over all the time. With this, it's nice to be able to have a screenshot of it and see, okay, these are on, these are set, this is, but I can't move that one and so forth.
Yeah, that would definitely be nice to just be able to see it on one.
Make the routing notes go before the name.
Before the name?
Right, between customer number and name.
Which one was it?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I agree.
So then that way when I'm moving things around, I don't have to worry about constantly scrolling over to make sure it can't be moved and whatnot.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what
we can put these in any order that you want them. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think that looks good. And now I have a question. Just on this part where it says status on, would it change for the ones that are set? Like how you can see Jared has got a 1, 2, 3, and 4?
I think
or would it have to say on?
Yeah, I think there's another one that's like.
It's just like an SMS now. The appointment set, remember how like if they're on or they're off, Amy?
Yeah,
right now, if you mark them off, and then they also have the appointment status. So you might want to have that appointment status moved over as well, possibly. It's just like an just like an SMS. It tells you this person's on and they're set, or this person's off, and obviously they're
Yeah, it would be nice to have that appointment status over as well to be able to see it.
The on and off is just exactly like it is now if they're available to work or not.
Okay.
Or they're off the schedule.
Does this system also, like how SMS is now, if something is canceled out, does it still show and leave that information in there?
No, it does not.
Okay, good.
And that's what causes that problem with exporting those SQL tickets or the route sheets, Ashley.
Right, exactly.
It takes it out of there, Amy.
Okay, good, because that gets confusing in itself.
Right.
So that way, Amy, on that, anytime you see where you've got somewhere where it's got a name, you know that's actually a set appointment. The appointment status is going to be set. If you see a name and address there.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I knew that was one of your things also with that.
Okay.
Yeah, it drives me crazy a little bit.
Yeah. You have to look at it and you're like, oh, this is here, I can't move this, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is open, it's already been CCIC'd.
Right.
Hey, Ashley, should we show her how the travel time is going to be scheduled?
Yes, definitely. I was going to suggest that next, actually, but.
Yeah, okay. All right, what I'm doing is I'm going to go and schedule an appointment.
Okay.
Get out of here. Let's do this. And I'm just going to go, I've been doing this, I'm just going to go find a service order that we created at some point and set it again.
Okay.
Yeah, here's one that we did. Okay, the Daily Deal Mosquito, and we simulated resetting it. So I'm going to reset it now, but I'm going to assume we need a travel time before and after whatever time we set it for.
Okay.
So when I go to resource allocations, that's where I'm going to search the schedule to find appointment times. Okay, and I'm going to schedule this one for tomorrow. But let's say it's, they want the appointment at 2 o'clock. You see here, Amy, it's Dave tomorrow, 8:20, Thursday at 2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
That's the time I've scheduled. But let's say we know that we need travel before and after.
Okay.
What I do is I hit this button that says auto allocate hours. And this 1 is filled in there, which is basically the system saying, okay, we've taken that appointment time. Now then what the appointment setter is going to do is go in to the time before, change the status to off for that appointment for the one before, and then also then go to the 3 o'clock after and change that status to off.
Okay.
Then they're going to go here to status reason and put in travel.
Okay.
They hit OK and hit refresh. Okay, now it's scheduled for 2 o'clock. But if we go look, at the schedule for the 20th, see, here's Dave, and you see the travel at 1, the travel at 3, and the appointment time at 2.
Okay.
So there's no more of them, sending you some request to create travel time. The appointment setter is going to be able to do that.
Now, what happens, like now what I run into is like back-to-back the same area. Like, let's say,
like that one we had with the one I just did with you, and you told me, I was like, they didn't have the time. You said, hey, see if they can do it at 4 instead, because we're already there at 5.
Right. So I guess
so
does that make sense, Bobby?
There's already a travel time in the system at, like say, let's say there would have been a travel already at 3. Is that what you're saying, or?
Let's say this, for example, let's say Virginia Beach 23457, just because you know that area. And you know how that always has to have travel time, you take travel time after. So it's got the travel time after, then someone else does a 23455, so you book that at, say, 1, it's got the travel time at 2, someone else wants to book a 23457 at, it's going to do 3, which is going to do the travel time at 4. Is there a way that, no one's going to know that, Amy, you know what I mean? Unless someone specifically, unless someone's specifically requesting, hey, because you know about it now because you're dealing with the travel time and stuff.
Right.
But if somebody does an SMS request for it, then you can see it, and there might be a way to eliminate that.
Yeah. See, my concern with the one.
Your concern is that you got that somebody schedules a 23457 and it's 4 o'clock, and like so you've got to travel here, but he's in the same area at 4. Is that what?
Well, what would happen is they would have the travel at the 1 o'clock, the appointment at 2, the travel at 3, and then let's say the next one needed travel before and after, so they would technically schedule the appointment for 5, so there would be 2 hours worth of travel between.
Right.
I would say that, for one thing, there's going to be a lot of time savings for everybody, including
right.
you, Amy. I would say that, you would have, in my mind, probably enough time, maybe to like eyeball these schedules a couple days out.
Okay.
And catch that.
Okay.
If you see that. I mean, does that make sense to you, Ashley, or?
Yes. I mean, that would be something she'd kind of need to look at and be like, hey, wait a minute, but then we need to see, okay, hey, she can notify and say, hey, can you see if this person can move up, 2 hours since it's in the same area.
Right.
Vice versa.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, is there a way for me to manually, like let's say that did happen and they were going to schedule another appointment for that 3 o'clock, can I manually change that travel time in here, or would it have to be done where they actually did it with the customer? Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. And just so you know, too, if they were to go in and reschedule this appointment, if the customer calls, I can't do it Thursday, I need to do it, next Friday or whatever, when they reschedule, it also opens the travel time or it takes off the travel and changes the status to on.
Okay, good.
So.
Yeah, that's another thing that I have to look for, too, on a daily basis is those.
Right. Well, yeah, we can even go in and do that here. Oh, you know what? I didn't have that one by order date. Okay. Here's Dave. This one is service order 00743. Okay. Okay, Amy, so what they would, if customers call in and saying, hey, I want to reschedule it, what they do is they go to line, resource deallocations, hit yes, and then they refresh. Okay, now that time is gone. Now remember, we had that for tomorrow at 2.
Right.
With the 1 travel, and you would put the 3 back on. We'd go back to resource allocations, and let's look for tomorrow with Dave. And you see the 1, 2, and 3 are back on here.
Okay.
So again, with you don't have to worry about going in if they reset it and putting anything back on.
Okay.
You have any questions so far or anything, or?
No, not so far. It looks good so far.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to go back to, again, it's called the resource capacity screen, where, like I said, you would be able to see everything, for a day. And then you can also filter it by, like, we call it area now. It's called service subzone code in this system.
Okay.
Well, like, let's say you said, okay, I just want to see everything, for MC2. So you've got the date, the service subzone code, and now that's all you see, which I would think as far as, if you're going to move stuff from one tech to another, that would be useful because you're only seeing the techs that are in that area.
Right. Okay.
Well, you got to tell me what would like I said, what would you need to do, or or do you want to put it in a spreadsheet, or?
No, I mean, I think that this would be good because really the only areas where techs would technically be in the same area would be like Virginia Beach and Richmond. So for the most part, the other areas, I would just look at it as a whole.
Okay.
But I like how you can separate it because that's nice. Well, especially for Richmond when I have, techs in VR2 and VR1.
Right.
So I like that.
Okay. Ashley, do you see anything you want to do, or what?
Well, you could. Well, I mean, she already knows this too, but where it's not going to matter as far as when the rep is, you won't have to worry about having that tech responsibility. The tech duties that to be updated, like who's got the rig and so forth. But you might want to show her where to do that. That she'll need to update that.
No problem.
Because that'll all be done from here as opposed to updating the list and everybody look at it. It'll be automatic. It's just you need to go in there and.
Right. I'm trying to
and so, you know what, I would like to try, Bobby, real quick while we're on this, if we can go back to where you were and see if somebody had, say, a termite treatment scheduled.
Yeah.
And, you know how like
I know we do.
Okay, yeah. All right, so Amy, how they'll say, okay, we're going to take the rigs off of this many trucks, only this person, that person's going to have a rig.
Right.
Or, sometimes this truck's broken down, you know what happens. So we can see what happens if she goes into where you're getting ready to take her, and let's see if we try to move. What happens if this tech is scheduled to a termite treatment, and then they no longer have a rig?
Here she's going to have to pay attention to the filter.
Right, right.
I mean, she's gonna, like I said, let's say Roy. As a matter of fact, I did that. Roy was scheduled as a treater and so, or set up as a treater, and then so I could test some things. I changed it to where he wasn't.
Okay.
But it's still in here that he's got this treatment scheduled today.
Okay.
So the way the filter works is when you're setting the appointment, it will catch it. But once it's in here, and then let's say
and that's the way it should be. Right. That's the way it should be, and that way she can still run a report and say, okay, well, hey, Dave, I know you're taking this off, but we already have Roy scheduled for termite treatment coming up on the 19th.
Right.
Right.
But Amy, I'm trying to get back to where you first logged in. I'm just going to log out of here real quick and go back in.
Okay.
What we've got here, Amy, you can see it's resources, which basically means technicians.
Okay.
Okay, here we've got the technician list. Well, let's go in and look at Dave. I hit edit, I open his. And again, I can make this also easier for you to find, but if you go to navigate, and you see here it says skills.
Okay.
This is what he can do. And some of these may look a little funny because when we first set them up, we weren't sure what we were doing, but you can see Dave can do an inspection, which is a renewal. He can do a mosquito, pantry pest. He can do pest control, stink bug, tick, yard, WDI. You don't see termite treatment.
Okay.
But he's not set up to do a termite treatment. If you go here, I'm pulling up Michael Jesse. Same thing, navigate, skills. You do see termite treatment.
Okay.
But you don't see WDI.
Now, if I wanted to add it, okay, I see. It just highlighted a little quick a lot. Okay.
yeah, you got this box. So he said, okay, we don't have yard. I'm not going to put like yard skill is like for pet lovers or the party service. So I just added that. He can do the yard service.
Okay.
But what we do is when we create our service items, we tie these into the service items. So like if you pull up the outdoor party service, it's only going to look for texts that have this yard skill.
Okay.
So to give you an example of this, let's go find somebody. With MC2 that we've got these guys in. Okay, so this one here, let's say we were going to schedule a termite treatment.
Okay.
Go to, this was a different area, but notice you only see Ray, because I've got Ray scheduled for a termite treatment. I mean, he's a termite treater.
Okay.
Now let's say I change it to something different, like just a pest control reservice. Now you see Alan, Jonathan, Eddie, because Ray's the only reason when you do termite treatment, Ray's the only one who's set up as treater.
Okay.
So if you're doing pest control, you see everyone else.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah. Also, too, notice it's a crawl space. So let's say I go in and schedule a 1-year termite service plan where you're going to have to do, an inspection on the crawl space.
Right.
So then I go to resource allocations. Notice now you don't see Alan.
Right.
We set it up where Alan cannot do crawl spaces.
Okay.
And I'll go and show you again the way that works is going back to resources, navigate. Well, let me didn't click in. Let me click on Alan. Navigate, and you see it says structure.
Okay.
Click here. These are the structures that these techs can access for an inspection.
Okay.
Alan can do a basement and a slab. He's got a bad back. So take somebody else. Let's look at Ray. Go to his structure. He can do everything.
Okay.
So we may have guys that that can do everything but a conditioned crawl space.
Okay.
So, but there's logic in the system where the system knows if a service like a renewal or or an IC or an ICPC, it knows we have to do a termite inspection. So then it matches the structure on the customer's account to what the technician can do.
Okay.
So I've heard now that there's often stops reset or because somebody set an appointment for something that a guy can't do, or maybe the structure's an issue. Hopefully these filters will catch a lot of that.
Yeah, for some reason it's like the system lately is, even though I have for example, Jonathan in Peninsula, I don't have him set as a treater, but for some reason it still allows them to set termite treatments with him. So this is nice that it won't even bring him up whatsoever.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. Okay.
Now, right here where you are, how do you add a text to that?
So it says home, new.
Okay.
And then you fill in the information.
Okay.
And then then you would go, like you put in the information, then you would go here to navigate, and this is where you would put in skills, you know, what type of structure, and all of that.
Okay.
And we'll practice this more at another time. We'll go in and add text, and whenever we go live with it, you know, that's probably something you and I'll do together first. We'll go in and add every single one of our technicians.
Okay.
And, you know, put everything in. I mean, that's perfect training.
Okay.
But I guess the thing like I said, I just want to just make sure of is, again, going back to like this screen here. Again, where, like I said, it shows you the whole. Again, you can do a date range too if you wanted to. But we mainly have appointments for today. But if you wanted to put in like today, and then notice I put in today's date, and I do 2 dots through Friday the 24th. It gives you all the appointments in that date range. I mean, you could do it over 3 weeks, 2 days, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Actually, should we show her that and how we can put this into a spreadsheet, and then you can do your magic with the pivot table?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right, Amy. So we have here this resource capacity report.
Okay.
You know, like when you do the update report to see as far as how many have been set in a certain area and how many openings we have in like VV1, VV2 versus 3 and 4 and so forth.
Right. And so you literally only have to click the button and it does it for that date range?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's the spreadsheet. So, I mean, I'm okay with the pivot table. I'm not anywhere near as good as Ashley. So, you know, Ashley, if you want to do something, go ahead. Or
Amy's a rock star at it. She knows how to do it well.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So every column that's on that, you know, the resource, everything is here. So if you need to go in and create, you know, again, a pivot table so you can get whatever data you need, it's all right here.
Okay.
Or you could go in and see, okay, how many openings do we have for MC2 compared to, you know, MC5? Obviously, we don't have a lot of stuff. We're not going to set a lot of stuff there.
Right. Okay, cool. I like that, and it was really quick as opposed to how it is now.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's what we've tried to do. I mean, with everybody is, you know, try to improve things as much as possible. So.
Right.
Okay. Ashley, let me ask you this: do you think with what Amy does, and now that you know that we're going to have the appointments called in, you know, to dispatch and updated and posted that way, is that going to affect anything Amy's going to have to deal with, or?
I think it would be less so compared to how it is now, actually, just because if, you know, when she's trying to move around the schedule or something like that, and you're trying to schedule an appointment, you know, and moving a treater from this to that, we don't have that because, you know, it's only going to, if someone's trying to schedule something that's, you know, or crawl space, Alan's not going to show up, so it's, I think it would probably have less of issues.
Well, yeah, well, I'm just thinking, all right, that because I guess everything that, you know, when they call it in, you know, if it goes through production and they post it, it has no effect on her. And I think because we've been testing and training with this so much, I would think anything that, like everything else is stuff that needs to be rescheduled. And I mean, that really goes back to the appointment setter. It's really not.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, Amy, just so you know, I mean, and I don't know if we've discussed it or Ashley discussed it with you, but, you know, the way it works now is we go out and, you know, you get the route sheet, everything's squared, the routing squared away, the techs print the route sheets and tickets. They go run their appointments. And basically, the next day, they fax or, you know, scan all of their route sheets and tickets, and then we go in and post everything into the accounting system the following day and create reports and summarize, what we did the previous day. With this new system, the guys via the radio are going to call everything in during the day as it's being run into the dispatch department, and they're going to update everything real time.
Okay.
So, so it will eliminate the next day's paperwork that we go through now. I mean, it's going to be a whole new process, but it's going to be different. So like I said, I don't think it's going to really affect you, but just want you to know we're doing it that way.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it'll take away a lot of my morning stuff.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Oh yeah, like for instance, I think you do the import.
Yes.
That goes away. You'll never have to do that again.
Yay.
Anything else we need to go over? Or, I mean, do you feel like with,
Do you want to recap on do you want to recap on like when you first get a new person and set up their schedule?
Set up a new person on the schedule, or just
like in the springtime, or even like when someone gets fired and they get, or we lay them off kind of thing.
A whole new technician, is that?
Yeah, getting rid of a technician and replacing him.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see if there's anybody here that doesn't work here anymore. Oh, but hey, one thing too we like to talk about is this ghost technician.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I can't. I'll be honest. I can't. I know we put this checkbox here where you can't schedule appointments for this. But I think in it, Ashley, that what you have to do is go in and put them on the schedule. Yep. Amy, we set up this ghost technician. I think in the current system we have like a dummy technician.
Yeah.
Well, I know that's what we talked about years ago. When we
right. Yeah.
But what you can do is here set capacity is where you would actually set a schedule for a tech. So if you needed to move appointments like to this ghost technician temporarily, so then you could move things around the schedule easily, you go in for this ghost technician. Let's say you wanted to put them on for today, starting date, ending date Friday. And we've got these work hour templates in here, and here we have one typical, which is 9 through 7. And then let's say you knew MC2 is one of the busiest ones, so you wanted to put this ghost technician in MC2. You do that, hit OK, and hit yes here. Now this.
Do you have to refresh first there? Do you know?
You don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah. So then let's go back to that resource capacity strength. And I'm just going to pull up today's. Somewhere in here should be the ghost technician. There it is. So you see you have this ghost technician in MC2.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can schedule appointments for this. It doesn't show up on the schedule.
Okay.
But if you wanted to go in and say, like you're talking about Richmond, and you wanted to look at one area where a lot of appointments are scheduled, and you needed to move guys around, and let's say it would be easier to get them off one before you move them to the other, you could move it to this ghost technician.
Okay.
So, and before I do this, just warn you, I really haven't practiced this very much. It's been a while since we set this up.
I think that's where you can do the swap allocation.
Right, that's what I'm doing right now. So I think like you click here and go to transfer allocation. I think. I guess I'd say ghost technician, hit OK.
And then that way you can move something from another tech that's in him, just like we do now, that goes to him,
Right.
and then you'd move the ghost technician appointment to the other person.
But it looks like, see, actually, it actually, now I remember, it looks like when you actually schedule an appointment. See, what we just did, we selected the ghost technician in that appointment. Then it takes us to almost the same way it looks when you're scheduling.
Right.
So you hit auto allocate, OK, and then it gives you a confirmation that it's been transferred. It gives you the old number. And one thing, Amy, every technician has a number. So sometimes you'll see where it just gives the technician number. So we've taken it from Jonathan, who's number 12, to the ghost technician, who's number 3.
Okay.
So now you see this appointment here, this 9 a.m., which I guess we should have looked, which is just a 1-year termite only, is now sitting on the ghost technician for 9 o'clock. And let's see if we could go move it. Okay, it looks like Eddie's open. So now I guess you could do the same thing. You highlight that appointment. You go to transfer allocation, look for Eddie, who's number 15. Hit OK. Here's Eddie's 9 a.m. You do auto allocate. Hit OK. Yep, it gives you the confirmation. It's gone for number 3 that goes to number 15, which is Eddie. Now it's assigned to Eddie.
Okay.
And of course, you would use that just like we normally use it. You don't have to go. You don't have to go to the ghost if the other person is just open. You know how now you have to do to the ghost,
right,
Amy. So this, you could either just do a swap allocation, but if you want to say move Jonathan's 9 to the ghost, so you could put Eddie's on, you know how you swap it back and forth like that, then you can use the ghost technician to do that third party kind of thing, as opposed to actually like swapping, schedules.
What if I wanted to like swap Eddie and Jonathan totally? Like, what if I just wanted to switch their schedules completely?
You can do that. You want to share it, Bobby?
I'm not sure how to do it in one.
All right. That way, you wouldn't have to use the ghost technician for that, Amy. You would go to
like here. Swap every single appointment?
Yes, you get that swap allocation, and you can do the whole day.
Have you practiced that? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, we did that. Let's see here.
Well, I said don't do the whole day. Why don't you just do?
Okay.
I know that. One problem is I don't have it set up.
All right. You want to go to another appointment date? You want to go to like the 20th and see if we've got some time for the 20th?
We don't have another schedule set up where there's enough appointments.
Okay.
I mean, if you want, as we're training, I'll schedule a day where we can simulate that. But again, I mean, it was a lot of work to get all these appointments scheduled for today.
Right. Okay.
So that's something you have to really plan in advance. I mean, but if you want to show her how she can swap Eddie's 9 with Ray's 9.
What I can do is tomorrow, me and Amy can get on after y'all have already done your things, and then swap, swap it from.
Okay, but I'm telling you, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go in and set,
So appointments.
Probably probably 16 to 20 appointments to really see that.
Okay.
I mean, I'm saying you probably want to put, or maybe not that, like 5 or 6.
Yeah. For 4 or 5 appointments for Alan and 4 or 5 appointments for Ray, and then have them each swap their, schedule.
Okay.
All right, we can do that, Amy.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looks like to me, it doesn't look like I guess we're pretty good.
Do you want to go over changing the service zone, the service subzones and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. Well, one thing you asked about adding a new technician, and why don't we'll go in and add a technician.
Okay.
And that's one thing, I'm sure it's in here, but let's say we were going to get rid of, I don't have anything scheduled for Brian. We'll say we're going to get rid of him. And I guess we would do, Ashley, is once a tech, if we let them go, we can just click omit from allocations.
Okay, and then put the appointment date.
If scheduled them by mistake, they wouldn't show up.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, we would do something where to mark them as inactive.
And what's the blocked square above that? Do you remember what that's for?
That's similar to, and that's the issue, and hopefully we'll never deal with this again, but with the issue that we deal with in now where if, let's say, we have a current customer and by mistake we create, it's a PIC, and we create a new NAV account again by mistake.
Okay, gotcha.
You go and actually block, where you can't pull up that customer record.
Right.
I think that's what that is. I wouldn't want to click block. We may not be able to pull it up again.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, we'll deal with that. We'll figure that out later. I mean, there'll be a fix for that. So anyway, but yeah, you just go here again. You hit new to create someone new, and it'll assign like an actual number, but we've been creating our own numbers. So this would be number 21.
Okay.
So new, and let's say we were going to put junior.
Type, he's a person.
So anyway, again, we've got fields for, like, Penny's going to use these fields like address, job title,
right.
email, I-9 verification, all that. I'm not going to mess with all that. But then you go in to navigate, and you say, okay, what can Junior do? So, and I'm not sure if we've used the ant skill, but I'll put it in anyway. And cicada killer, yeah, he can do that. And we've got some crawl space stuff, but we can ignore that. Yeah, he can definitely do an inspection. He can do a mosquito. Let's see what else. He can do the pantry pest. He can do the pest control. He can do renewals. He can do stink bugs.
And slabs.
No, well, that's different. That's on the
okay, yeah.
It's kind of ended up here by mistake. But we're going to say he can't do WDIs. He can't do termite treatments, but he can do the tick, and he can do the yard. So hit OK, and that's done. And then we go to structure, and we'll say he can do every structure but the condition crawl. And that's all there is to it.
And then we get his schedule as typical hours, like Brian was the 9 to 5.
Right. Okay. So what we do is, all right. So now you see Junior on the list.
Mm-hmm.
You can do one thing. You can do it from the list, or if you actually click on his to go into his account. Either way, it's the set capacity button.
Okay.
You hit set capacity, and like I said, let's say you wanted to put him on for next week. You go starting date Monday 8/24 through Friday 8/28. Typical schedule 9 through 7. Then you just click on the service zone code. You know what? We forgot something, Ashley. Now I just caught.
All right. So, Amy, this is kind of like what you do when you're setting the set inspector schedules. You're setting that 3 weeks out and you're adding the next, that next week and so forth.
Right.
This is where you go to do that, is setting that capacity and putting in your new date range, and then you can pick the service area that you want to put them in.
Okay.
Like now where you have to say, okay, everybody's going to be pretty much scheduled in, GA1, and then you've got to go and say, okay, you're going to be in GA2, you're going to be 3, you're going to be 11, so forth. Now you can say specifically, Brian's, I'm schedule him out for the next week, and I'm putting him in VV1.
Okay.
Hey, Ash, yeah, what we didn't put is the resource location.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
So,
exactly.
Wait a minute, where it should be. Put in a doesn't look right. No, that's not it. But there's something here where he can work.
Yeah, I thought it was under either that resource capacity. Go back under that navigate or actually, yeah. Is that under the resource capacity at the top of that ribbon?
Now, resource capacity, that's where you can go in and edit their days. And I will do that next.
Okay.
Resource availability. No, that's not it. No, there's something here where you have to go in and say which, like, area. Could he work in MC or GA? Maybe this is at service zone. Here it is. So here's junior.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Okay, I think that's, okay. Now that should allow us to do the schedule. So again,
and you don't have to do that only for new people. You don't have to do that every time you're doing the schedule out.
Right, okay. Yeah, that's a one-time thing. Because again, we were just creating juniors a one-time thing. So then it's set capacity, which we just did. So we're going to do him for next week. And again, so we got the date, beginning and ending date, typical schedule. Then you're going to go say, okay, he's working in MC, and then you pick which one, wherever you want to put him. Why don't we put him in MC1? And just hit OK. And then hit OK from here, and he's scheduled. So he.
And then the same. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, so that put him in MC1 for that whole week. Now, if you want to edit that, this one here called resource capacity, you click here, and then you see the schedules for next week, the 24th through the 28th, and it shows you the juniors in MC1. You can click on any day. Let's say click on Tuesday the 25th, and then you can go in and edit where he is. Let's say you want to put him in MC3 on another day.
Okay.
I think
and
that's
you wouldn't have to,
I don't know the way.
No. You go up to, if you want to do the whole day, you go to change service zone code.
Okay. Zone.
And we're not supposed to have to worry about doing a, that's supposed to be.
I was asking for a date. Let me do it again.
Yeah, under that.
So you want, I guess it's asking for today's date. I don't know about this. Yeah, that doesn't look right.
There is a thing where you do a date. Hold on a second. Let me
just get out of here. Let's start over. So I will click there. Now it's changed service zone code. Yes.
All right, MC3. Hold on. Let me go try this one more. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Is it this one?
No.
Okay.
No, because it should. Okay,
there it is right here. There it is right here. And then we enter the date.
So you got to put the date in. Okay.
Yeah, and then it's, what date are we on?
This is the 25th.
24th. The 25th, sorry.
So you got, that's the 24th.
And the it's all changed to 3s now. Okay. Isn't that so much easier, Amy? Don't you love that?
Yes.
Instead of having to individually do all those for all, you know.
Yeah.
Right, for every single tech, yeah.
Well, Amy, I think you'd also be able to as well, just to show you. Let's see. Let's look at the 26th. So he's still in MC1. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to try it. I think you'd be able to go in also if you wanted to change it for a couple days.
Yeah.
But okay, we've got a new service zone, and then you want to go in and say, okay, 8/26/15 ... through the 27th.
28. Yeah.
Yeah, so that updated 2 days.
And then, will you hit the refresh button for a second? Okay, so then that's how you get that to show up from that 1 to changing it to 3.
Right.
You got to hit that refresh.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, that's a hell of a lot easier than it is in the current system.
Yes.
That's a complete understatement.
Every single appointment time.
Okay.
And when you got 55, you know, when you got, especially when you have to start them out in a specific area anyway.
Right.
You know, where it's every, like for example, Georgia, you have to say, okay, on this date we're going to be in Georgia area 1, but then you go in each day and manually say, okay, Junior's going to be, I'm going to change them from area 1 to area 11. 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11. Then you go to Luane, you got to move him to area 4. So you're going where they all start out in area 1, and you've got to literally move every single technician at every single time for that area that you want. For each day, every single day.
Right.
So this is a big, huge time saver.
Yes.
Bobby?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
No, I'd forgotten that was in there. That's awesome. So.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we wanted, you know, back on the system. We're like, gosh, if there was a way we could just make it where you just change them all.
Yeah. I guess that was, what, 7, 8 months ago we were dealing with that.
Right, right.
It's a long time.
Now, I had a question. Let's say that Alan just called out sick and I needed to take him off the schedule. Would it be something where I had to unselect everything, or is there a way to do it all at once?
I'll tell you, well, that's something we need to talk about. And
can you excuse me just for a second? I have to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. We'll wait till you get back because you need to be on this.
Okay, thank you. Just a second.
Yeah. Yeah, Amy, it may be something that you don't need to do, or that I'm not saying you don't need to do, but you wouldn't do through this portion.
Okay.
Because what we can do is, again, you got to remember, like I said, that, you know, the guys are running, you know, their appointments, and they're called service orders.
Okay.
So you can think of these. Now, if we wanted to go in and say, okay, for Alan, we go, well, first thing I do is put today's date. That's the allocation date. Okay, for 8/19, and give me Alan's appointments. And Alan, you select Alan.
Okay.
I'm back now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she's asking the scenario, what happens if Alan calls in, you know, calls out?
Right.
And this is how I would do it. Is what I'm doing is I'm pulling a list of all of Alan's service orders for what's running today. So you've got the allocation date of today and his number 10. So you've got these service orders. Now, what you could do is just pull this up and then go in and look at and edit each one. So you pull up the service order. Okay, you see this is set for Alan, and you see, okay, Bobby or me in customer service set this. You could do an action required of reset appointment. Put a note here on the service order, check out. And I don't want to do this because, again, we've got schedule set today.
Right.
Or, you know, we're doing testing with Megan. But then I could go through here to line and hit resource deallocation. That removes this appointment. And then this reset appointment is sitting here for me to come in, run the list, and reset the appointment.
Okay.
Well, there's some that we can actually do this on. Let's, all right, it's 9 a.m. Okay, so let's say, Amy, you know, and whether it's you or somebody else could go in and say, okay, Alan's out sick today. Give me a list of all his service orders. Here they are. Okay, here's his 9 a.m. I pull it up. You can't move. There's no way for you to, you say, there's no way for me to move this. Hell, this one's just an outside spray. So what I could do is go in and change the action required to set outside spray. Put a note in here, something like Alan out, whatever, and then just go in.
And I don't know if it's necessarily where you want to have, you know, say specific or her to say, okay, you know, deallocator, or just send like a kind of like that schedule, the SMS notes alert, you know, where it sends that alert, hey, needs to be reset checkout, and it sends alert, and that way it notifies the rep that they need to get it rescheduled.
We need to practice it. I'm just saying you could do it that way. And again, by hitting deallocate, it removes that, it closes out that service order. But now, you know, again, it's no different than if, you know, if we couldn't complete the appointment for whatever reason. Because all you're doing is, you know, all they're doing is now just creating an action required that we can go, that the appointment center can go and find, whoops, that appointment. And here it is, actually. So now, so what I've done, I've just gone and ran a list of all service orders where we need an outside spray. And here is the one. So, you know, by doing that, everything it's you know, it's waiting for somebody in customer service to pull it up and reset it.
Now, is there a way to take him off so that they don't, like, cancel this appointment out and reschedule it with him? Or would I just have to manually go and change
You'd have to go in and take, then you'd have to go in and take him off.
Okay.
Then,
yeah, kind of.
Well, go ahead, Ashley.
You go ahead. That's all right.
No, I'd say, yeah, then I guess your next step would be to go in and...
I would think the first step would be to go ahead and mark him as off. So that way, when the other appointments are deallocated, yeah, new ones aren't getting scheduled.
I'm not sure what happens. We've never tested that. I don't know what happens to those appointments when you do that. We'll try that right now. So let's pull up Alan, and again, it's resource. We want resource capacity. So let's look at today. All right, so let's use the 10 o'clock.
And then I think we just go mark him as...
Mark this as off.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Now let me get service order numbers and all, just in case we have trouble finding it.
Okay.
All right, so it's ND00300. And service order is 506. Okay. All right, so we mark that as off. Yeah, see, it's not, because it's already allocated.
Okay.
It's not letting you do that.
I wonder if we could move it to a ghost tech, swap his day for a ghost, basically do a swap allocations, put it to a ghost tech, then mark him as off. We'll have to test, we'll have to play around with that.
Yeah, I guess depending on time of day, but you're talking really, I mean, a matter of a couple minutes to go in and deallocate his appointments and update, because that's going to have to be done, because somebody's going to have to update those service orders. That cannot be done from here. Because again, you got to remember, Ashley, is I mean, this was designed, you know, so that it's just like what dispatch is going to be doing on a daily basis. Is as the appointments are being run, a lot of them aren't going to be completed. You know, the way that we said that we would do that is we would just update the service orders via the action required field. Again, finding Alan.
What we're concerned about is, okay, marking him being off.
I know what you're concerned about, but I'm just saying, again, but you're saying in the process of doing this, going in and editing each one of these, that say you go in, okay, this, I don't want to use that one. Let me find his 10 o'clock. Okay, here's his 10. So going in, okay, here's the mosquito service. So what I would do is I'd go in and say, okay, action required, this one needs to be reset. Put just a general note, tech out. Then I go in and resource the allocation. Yes, to get it off there. Now you're right. Technically, that appointment time is available for Alan.
Yeah, so someone else might think.
Time it takes me to get this done, and somebody else could schedule another one.
Right, exactly.
Okay, well, when that happens, what would end up happening, because after you do this, you would go to here. To resource capacity.
Oh, I wonder if we could put something with the date on that omit from schedule on a specific date.
Well, I mean, again,
and then once they've been rescheduled, go and mark it as off.
Well, no, because again, I mean,
just a thought.
No, I think what happened is somebody in the 5 minutes from the time that we found out that Alan was out. And first of all, a lot of times this is going to happen in the morning when no one's going to be scheduling appointments. You know, but, you know, as we go in and we remove these via the service orders, you're going to end up with a blank schedule here. And then you would go and mark these off. If somebody schedules one, happens to schedule one during that time,
yeah, we just let them know. Right.
And then get back to her, you know, I don't think it's, I think that would handle it. I mean, again, probably because, you know, 9 out of 10 times we're going to find out in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we'll have it in the afternoon, hey, so-and-so's going to be out for the rest of the day, text gone home sick, or yada, yada, yada. And right now we just type and say, you know, where we're trying to get them off the schedule. Amy can go in and mark them, you know, off, 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 off. And we still know, okay, hey, we've got these appointments that we need to reschedule.
Right.
The only
well, how do you know in the current system, if let's say there's 5 renewals and 3 ICs, how does she notify that they need to be rescheduled?
She Skypes it.
What information does she Skype?
The address.
Okay, would it be easier to pull up that list of service orders and say, put RA for a reset appointment and you're done?
Well, for marketing, I send the address. For renewal, I normally just fax over the route or print the route sheet over. It's just easier.
You'd rather do that?
No,
I mean, saying that she'd rather.
No, we're gonna try it. The procedure's going to be that, again, you would go to his schedule via the service orders for that day, like I just did. And we'll do somebody else. Let's say it's Ray this time since we removed. Oops. Because again, this is the same procedure that dispatch is going to use if we can't complete the appointment, you know, for whatever reason, no show, weather, you know, whatever the case may be. So to me, it makes sense that we would do this the same way.
Okay.
So again, you're right. I understand the risk that in the time that it takes you to go in and pull, like let's say, all right, it's 9 o'clock. We'll do the 9 through 9, 10, and 11. So here's the 9. See what it is. It's a renewal and mosquito. So you're going in. Again, just saying reset appointment. And again, in worst case, most work you'd have to do is put something like checkout.
Right.
And actually, it will take you to the next service order when you do that. So you don't even have to go back to the list. Notice now it takes you to the 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're already there. So again, same thing, action required. Put in RA. Check out.
I mean, heck, we can have one of those action required as TVRS tech out, you know, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So again, we got one more here. Yep, here's the 11. Or that you could even, or have a status 2 for tech out or something. But yeah, we could do whatever. You know, so you need to put in this note.
That's nice. It works. It's nice that it goes on to the next one. That makes it a whole lot easier as opposed to having to go back, you know, back and forth.
Yeah.
So.
Right. So that's it. I mean, Amy, other than then going to this screen,
Mm-hmm.
or resource capacity, this will, yeah, the resource capacity, and then marking, or whatever day, now we have the 19th, whatever day it is, that you then would go and mark them as off, you're done. I mean, it's not like you're sending a route sheet or you're, you know, copying and pasting an address. It's just changing those, you know, deallocating and changing that action required at your best.
Okay. That works.
And again, what you would end up with, like I said, if somebody scheduled one, when you were going to mark them as off, you would see it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I think, you know, the process works well enough. We can, if that happens, you know, occasionally, we can live with it.
Yeah, and it's not like it happens that often. I mean.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, as long as I can delete the appointment myself and then go directly in and take it off, then it's fine. But if I were like to have to wait on them, then I think that's when I would run into an issue, I guess.
No, you're not going to have to wait on anything.
Okay.
No, because again, it's going to happen all the time. And the whole point of what we're trying to do is like all the ones that you just like theoretically went in and rescheduled. You know, a lot of those appointments were set by me. So what I would do is when I, you know, even if I didn't know that Alan was out, part of my routine, if I'm in Stephanie's department or Ashley's, on a daily basis, I'm going to go in, oh, okay, here's a list of all the service orders. Well, I'm in Responsibility Center. I'm in Customer Service. So I'm just going to pull those service orders. Then I'm going to say, okay, you know, I'm going to go and find the ones that I'm responsible for. And then I'm going to go and say something, all right, give me all the ones, action required, of reset appointments. Here's the list. So these are all ones for whatever reason have been reset. And then, Amy, what I would do is I would just start opening them.
Right.
And see what the deal is. See this one here? Amy, it's just reset appointment. Okay, it was a no-show. Now see here, we had, okay, we were doing the termite and pest and the pet lovers and doing a reservice. So then I'm calling the customer to reschedule it. Let's look at this next one.
And now, can you go to the next one like you did with the instead of going back to that? Can you? Is there a way to make it? You select that one.
I'm not sure. There may be. I don't know how to do. If there is, I don't know how to do it. Let's try it. Right,
kind of like what you did on that last. Okay, yeah, the next.
This one that says next.
Yes.
Hopefully it reverts back to the filter we've got set up.
Okay.
If it goes to 785, it doesn't. But let's see. Or I know what we do. Let's do this first. Let's say, okay, it's going 784, 795, 803.
Okay.
So then let's hit next. Yeah,
Yay.
it is.
Awesome. That's nice.
Yeah.
Then you just have all your reset list right there, and you just go from one to the next to the next.
Right, exactly. So Amy, that's what, again, what the process is, whether it's you or it's more likely going to be dispatch on a daily basis with these service orders.
Right.
Is we're editing these action required fields so that you can run the list based on these action requires, like reset appointments. We've got like get signed contracts, all kinds of different things. Here, actually, we do have reschedule tech out.
Okay.
We did already put that one in there. So,
okay, good.
So again, we're just, again, whenever a service order is not completed, or in this case, it needs to be reset because the tech is out, we're just putting in the action required, and everybody can go in based on who they are or what department they're in and find service orders that need to be reset.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think for you, that would be the best way, because that process, no matter how you go in and take that tech off the schedule, that process needs to happen anyway.
Right.
And like I said, it sounds like to me that's a hell of a lot better than, if you're faxing a route sheet now or, copying and pasting an address. Ashley, you see anything else, or?
No, but I like that I've learned a couple new things, like with the, automatically going to the next thing on there, which I didn't know, before.
Yeah, so I would think, like, we've got some for you, so you could go in and say, signed user ID.
I'm usually on as administrator, but.
Yeah. Well, we had you logging in. We put a
yeah,
bunch
sure.
of stuff. Yeah, so you could just go in and just click on the first one.
And then go on down the list. Exactly.
Right, just hit next. Yeah. It shows you how long we've been doing it. We've got ones that we set back in November.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes it nice. I like that, to be able to, because before we were always going back and looking at the next one and trying to remember service orders and all that stuff.
Right. So, why don't you, unless, do you guys have any more questions for today or anything, or?
I don't. No.
I was going to mention one other thing real quick. Kind of like before, one other thing that's going to be a whole lot easier is, how these are set up in with different companies, like when you were doing posting before, where you've got the Maryland, the Texas. And you know how, Amy, when they say, okay, we're going to bring Alan down to Dallas to work for a week, it's pretty, easy to be able to, it's not like it is now with, how you got to redo all that whole ghost thing and then get the thing, going to the Dallas thing and getting all set up.
Right.
It's a whole lot easier in this and going to a new company and setting it up in there. And I mean, that's just going to be you know how that takes a couple hours to do all that.
Right.
Now it won't take, but,
Well, you can move and set Alan up like work in Texas. It takes a couple hours to set that up.
I mean, if you're going to have him, you're going to put him in there for the week, and you've got to move all of his appointments and put it to a ghost technician, put it to this, and then you've got to go into the Dallas one and set up each area and individually click on every single appointment time to put what area he's going to be in and move and all that. It usually takes about, it can take a couple hours if you're going to have him there a week.
This should take a matter of I mean, assuming he doesn't have anything, it's not an issue of resetting stuff in Norva. I mean, it would take a matter of minutes to have him set up in Dallas.
Right.
Right. Well, you can, just do that.
Even with me being able to go in and do the action required and resetting it, it'll be a lot quicker. Because a lot of times I'm in limbo waiting for them to reset stuff or whatnot.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you say that again, Amy?
Now with having me be able to go in and do the action required and actually take the appointment out,
Right.
it'll eliminate a lot of time because, you know, sometimes I'm waiting and waiting for somebody to reset something before I can move on to the next step of moving a technician.
Okay, yeah, right.
You got something in the morning and you're waiting for the person who comes in who's closing the shift, like say Jennifer or Carol or something like that, and you have to wait for them to come in to get it, you know, call and get it rescheduled and so forth before you can get him moved over.
Not this. So.
Yeah, this will definitely eliminate a lot of time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Ashley, Amy, if you guys want, maybe just be thinking about, you know, practice or just additional training just to make sure that, you know it, Amy, that you know it really well. Whatever you guys want to do. If you want to do it, you know, just the two of you, that's fine. If you want me to be on, you know, just let me know. Anything's fine with me.
I mean, I think it'd be good for us to try to get, you know, Amy, get some schedule set up and just kind of go through the practice like you normally do on a daily routine as far as getting that schedule set up and so forth.
Right.
And then, of course, we can get some appointments scheduled and so forth, and then rescheduling.
Yeah, we're doing so much training now with different people. That's one thing. If you know that there's going to be a day that you two are going to be in there and you need a appointment set, you know, let me know because I can get Stephanie or Stacy or, you know, Lee or whoever to, you know, make sure we got some appointment times in there.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. And also making sure that if, like right now, we don't want to mess up anything with the 19th because you're doing that stress test from 1 to 3 o'clock appointment.
Right, yeah.
To make sure that we're not, you know, transferring allocations and all that stuff on a day that you're planning on working with.
Right, exactly. Okay.
Do you think of anything else, Amy, that you would need to see? Or you want to review again, or?
I can't think of anything else that I would really need to see. I mean, I took notes on it all, so
well, we've got about 2.5 months before we plan on going live with this.
Okay.
So it should be plenty of time. You know, it just sounds like to me it's not going to take much to really get you where you're ready to go. So.
Right. Yeah, I would say, I mean, Ashley, if you and I could meet maybe like once a week for a little bit and go over it.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
That would be good. Yeah, so if we could just pick a day and do that, then that works.
All right. Well, you want to do some more tomorrow after they finish with their stress test today?
Sure, that works.
Bobby, is that okay with you? Is that good, or do you have anything lined up for tomorrow?
Just, you know, I'm doing a session with Stephanie and Stacy, but it will be with my login.
Okay.
So you guys can log in via administrator. It shouldn't make any difference.
Okay. All right. And what time are y'all planning on doing that, just out of?
Probably 1 to like 3. I think that's what we've been doing.
Okay. Okay, so we could try to do like the same time maybe tomorrow if that's good for you, Amy. Do like 11ish.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And that way we can just at least get our schedules, and I don't want to be moving appointments around while they're in the system and, you know, we have to move their appointments and they can't find it or something.
Okay, that works.
Yeah, and actually, if you think about it, if you want, because I'm probably going to have Stacy. Well, actually, I take that back. She's going to be practicing posting tomorrow, so just about anything she set will be posted. So,
okay.
Yeah, but again, just whenever you need appointments, just let me know. Because one easy way to do it is to go into all those. We have so many that are in there that like we simulated that need to be reset.
Right. Yeah.
That you can just go in and pull those up and set them. It's pretty easy to do.
Right. Exactly. And especially now that I see we've got that next to take you on. Okay, these are all the ones that need to be rescheduled.
Right.
That makes that a lot easier.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think tomorrow would be nice for us to just get up, you know, go into practice and getting all their, you know, the regular guys, getting them scheduled, putting what area they're going to be in. that kind of thing.
I've got a schedule for next week for everybody. You can change whatever you want. The only thing is, most of the customers are in NC 1, 2, or 4.
Right, exactly, like normal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. This went really well. I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited.
Yeah, I can imagine, Amy, you can see a lot of different ways where it's going to be a lot of time saver.
Right, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, just let me know how it goes tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right, so is there anything, Amy? Hey, Amy, are you still there or not?